WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. Thank you for tuning to WVTC Radio Detroit and the Community Bell Show with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner, Edna Bell. Stay tuned for insightful information Detroiters will find valuable. Text a friend and tell them to watch with you for news you can use. And now, your host, Edna Bell.
Hello, everyone. It is Monday. It's 4:00, so it must be the Community Bell Show. Thank you so much for joining us this Monday. We are just pleased to have you. As always, we got lots of stuff to talk about, so we need to just get busy talking about some of those things. Monday the 4th, last week, Monday at 4:00 rather, but last week, as many of you know, as everybody should know by now, was Veterans Day. The 11th of November is Veterans Day. And, I just wanted to say a few words about our veterans, to honor our veterans. It is not easy to serve your country, particularly if you're a person of color. And so for those people who have done it and done it for years and done it so well, we just say thank you. I think it's particular poignant at this time because we just lost one of our great Americans who served this country with distinction, General Colin Powell, who was also Secretary of State, Colin Powell, Joint Chief of Staff, Colin Powell. Just an incredible human being, for years and years and years, served this country, and he went home to be with glory a couple of weeks ago. And if any of you saw the service and heard the description his son gave of his father and his relationship with his father, it was just almost, it was a tearjerker. But it was just nice to hear a man talk about his father the way this young man talked about his father and talked about the things that we don't see. But it was just great to be able to hear him talk about his dad. So Veterans Day last week, we want to just say thank you to all of those who serve this country in any one of our armed services. Little known facts. Every time there is an anniversary for one of our armed services, and there are 5 armed services, the city of Detroit raises a flag when the anniversary of that particular, whether it be the Air Force or Navy, Marines, Army, whichever one it is, the city raises a flag on Jefferson, right at the corner of Jefferson and Woodward. There's a flag raising ceremony, and persons from that particular branch of the service raise the flag. And it's just, and I this is new information for me. Didn't know that until earlier this year. And a group that I'm a part of, the Women's Veterans Resource Center, is usually there to support the raising of that flag. And so just little known information that many of us don't know about. So that's, again, Veterans Day. We are just pleased to be able to say thank you to those people who serve this nation. Sometime in the next month or two, we're going to have on the gentleman who is the director of Wayne County's Veterans Department, because they do a lot of things that we just don't know about, that people who are veterans, who are taking care of veterans, need to know. So I'm going to have him on to talk about veteran services here in Wayne County. But today, as many of you know, I do some volunteer work for the school system and work with a group called Helping Kids Go to School. And the point of that organization is simply to help kids go to school, to help parents help their kids go to school. And we work with the parents. We find out what the problems are, if there are any problems, and we just try to help them solve those problems, whatever that is, to help those babies go to school. And so today I spent a few hours over at something called, it's a parent community center. And they have all sorts of things that you can get. It's in Detroit, on Asbury Park in Puritan, and it's at one of the former public adult education locations. But they have coats, and they have uniforms, they have food, they have hygiene items, they have books, they have all sorts of things, and therefore parents, they're for the community. You don't have to be anybody special to get it. Just give them a call and they will make sure that it is available to you. And so today I have all sorts of things I have gotten from that resource center, and it's there to help parents. They have lots and lots of things to help parents and to help their children. They have a booklet called Picking the Perfect School for Your Child. And what that means is, what does your child want to do? Do they want to go into performing arts? Do they want to go into a trade? Do they want to have a scholastic aptitude and go into one of those areas? All sorts of things. But they have a whole booklet of items for you to look at to plan what your child is going to do as a part of the Detroit public school system. And again, as I said, we'll be talking about those over the next probably forever. I'm going to talk about this forever because we need to make sure these babies get to school. And my saddest note is there is a too high percentage of children that are not getting to school and not getting there on time. So this is a community problem. This isn't just a school problem. This is all of our responsibilities to help these parents get these babies to school on time. Because I know that all of you have heard this before, but if children don't attend school, there is a high probability that they are going to end up in the penal system, in our jails. Because if they don't attend, they can't learn. And if they haven't learned to read by the time they get to the 7th, 8th grade, the chances of them doing that and graduating from high school are very, very slim. They will have low self-esteem, so they're going to get into trouble. They're going to get into all sorts of things that they don't need to get into. So it's so important that we start early, making sure we get these children to school. And so that's my next goal, finding a way to get these babies in school and finding a way to help their parents get them in school. So if, in fact, the parent is having a transportation problem, we've got people who will try their best to help them with that transportation issue. If they need coats for those babies, if they need uniforms, they're not going to school because they don't have uniforms. That's not a reason for them not to go to schools. We can help them get those uniforms. And so parents, don't sit back and sometimes we're a little bit too proud to ask. Don't be too proud to ask. Please do that. Let me talk about another item here that is probably more prevalent now than it has been in the past, simply because of the pandemic situation we're in. We've got children who are at home more than they would normally be because of the pandemic. We've got strange schedules for children in schools. And I've got 2 grandkids at Cass Tech. One of them goes to school on Tuesdays and Thursdays one week, and Monday, Wednesday, Friday the next week. And both of them have that schedule. They alternate. It can have some mental problems. I mean, kids can have issues when they don't have a regular schedule. Children need to have a regular schedule. And so if the parent or if the children are having problems with stress and being a little bit concerned about how they're feeling, the Parent Academy has something called the Mental Health Guide, and it's in the Office of Family and Community Engagement, better known as FACE. That office is located on Asbury Park in Puritan, and they will help you with tips to help for self-care. Recognize when your emotions are kind of out of touch. How can you help your child? How to communicate in a better way with your children, and how to help your children communicate better with you and better communicate how they're really feeling. Sometimes children don't know how to communicate how they're feeling. They just know, I'm not feeling good and I don't like what's going on and I'm sad or I'm mad. And all of those feelings are a part of this situation we're in. And so check with the Office of Community and Family Engagement. The telephone number is 313-873-7490. That's 313-873-7490. It's located on Puritan between Murray Hill and Asbury Park. You can go over there and get food items. You can get sanitary items. You can get personal protection, masks and sanitizers, book packs, books, all sorts of items. And they are there for Detroit public school students and families. So don't go without. Go over there and look at some of the things that they have that can help you. They're so anxious to help. We are all anxious to help. We're going to play another song in a few moments. And while that song is getting ready, I'm going to go and look at some of the other things that we are going to be talking about to help our children. I've got a whole list of things here today that will be helpful to our children. So we're going to listen to that after this next message, and I'll come back and talk to you some more about the PACE Center, Parent and Community Engagement, better known as FACE, FACE, Parent or Parent P, Office of Family and Community Engagement, Family and Community Engagement. It's a part of Detroit Public Schools. It's free. All you have to do is go and over there and find out how they can help you. What do you need? Let them know what you need, and they really will. Wonderful people over there. They'll do everything they can to help you out. It's just a wonderful group of people. They even have what they're calling parent listening sessions. And that's with one of our school board members, school board member Bishop Carlotta Vaughn, and the superintendent. And what those are simply audio sessions. You can dial in, and it's virtual. And if there's something that's on your mind or on your heart that you just need to talk about, that you think somebody needs to hear what you have to say and what you think, and they really do want to know what you think, you can dial in. The next one will be on Tuesday, November 23rd. That's Tuesday before Thanksgiving, next Tuesday. There'll be one on Tuesday, December 14th, and another one on Tuesday, January 25th. So one a month for the next 3 months. And they want to hear what you have to say. If you've always said, gee, I sure do wish I could talk to that superintendent and tell him what I think about this, or I wish I could talk to a school board member and tell them how I feel about this and make some suggestions as to how I think things could be better in Detroit Public Schools, you have the opportunity to do that. You have the opportunity to do that. If you want to do that, there's an audio number you can dial, and that number is 313-462-2305. Again, it's 313-462-2305. And I know there's a lot of numbers I'm throwing at you today, but there's a conference ID you have to have. And you can get this online also. And the ID is 808-304-147 #. But I just want you to know that these things do exist. So when you're thinking about something that you think the board ought to know or the superintendent ought to know, there is a vehicle for you to do that. Now, the other vehicle for you to do that is to attend school board meetings. There's a school board meeting every second Tuesday of the month. Every second Tuesday. And there is an opportunity for you to in person talk to them during public comment. There's an opportunity, if you can't be there in person, to do it virtually. You can do it online. School board meetings take place every second Tuesday of the month, 5:30. Every second Tuesday at 5:30. They're held at Renaissance High School, and Renaissance is located on Outer Drive between Hubble and Greenfield. On Outer Drive. Right next, where Renaissance High School is. Right next to Flicks, the school where they teach foreign language, the Foreign Language Emergence Center. So, second Tuesday of every month, Detroit School Board meetings, 5:30. And if you have something you want to say, you have the opportunity to say it. You've got the school board members right there. You've got the superintendent right there. And you've got much of the staff there to tell them whatever it is you think is important for you and your family and your children. Let them know. Let them know. Next item. There is something called the Harvest Celebration. This takes place next Tuesday also, on the 23rd, between 5 and 7. And it will take place at that same location I mentioned to you, the PACE Center, Parent and Community Center, on Asbury Park, 16164. Asbury Park, 16164. 164 Asbury Park and Puritan, right on the corner. And they're going to be giving away turkeys. I know this has been a rough year for a lot of people. And if you will be in need of turkeys, and they even have boxes of food that they give away, and they have staples, and they have macaroni in there for macaroni and cheese. They have cereal, they have canned foods. So if you are in need of a turkey for Thanksgiving, they're going to be giving them away on next Tuesday at the Pace Center, Family and Community Engagement Center, FACE Center, Family and Community Engagement Center. So if you need to get over there, do that. Do that. Okay. Now we're going to hear one little song. And after this song, I'm going to come back with more information for you because there's some other stuff I want you to do. And it's coming up. So listen to this wonderful music, and I'll be right back.
That the Lord will not share. There's not a one heavy burden that God cannot bear. He'll take your hurts and your groans and make them his own. Come one day you will overcome. Lift up your head, dry your eyes, know that you're not alone. Lift up your head, be encouraged, your deliverance soon will come. It's closer than you think. You're just at the brink of victory. You will overcome. Well, I've been through the storm, through the rain. The Lord has never left me. He remains the same. He's opened up doors that I could not see. The Lord has been a blessing. He has kept me in His word. He has given us direction. You will overcome. You will no matter what you're going through, God will deliver you.
You will overcome. How appropriate. All you have to do is trust in the Lord, and you will indeed overcome. But what's that the Lord says? Faith without works. We got to do a little work too. We need to trust, but we got to do a little work. Got to do a little work. And so part of the work you need to do is what I'm about to tell you. And you don't have to worry about, you can write some of it down now, but I'll be back telling you the same thing. I think every month I'm going to talk about this because you need to know this probably every week. There are so many programs that you have that are free. For instance, if you've got a family who likes to dance, There are free family dance classes every Saturday from 9:30 to 10:30. It started October 9th. They will conclude on December 4th. But they're free at Mary Grove College. You know where Mary Grove is? 6 Mile and Wyoming. 6 Mile in Wyoming. Mary Grove College. Free. Or let's say you want to learn to swim. Free swimming classes from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Saturday until January the 29th. If you're on the east side, it's at East English Village. That's the old Finney High School for those old people who remember it as Finney, but it's East English Village. And Mumford High School on the west side. There are so many things, and you don't have to pay for it. You don't have to pay for it. They've got support groups. And I know many of you are taking care of your grandchildren. Unfortunately, too many are taking care of grandchildren. But for those grandparents who have to take care of their grandchildren, there's a support group for you. And that support group meets on Wednesdays from 9 a.m. until 10 a.m. at Western International High School over on Scotton Street on the west side. And you need to, if you need to do that, please do that. There is a dad support group. There is a dad support group. And the dad support group meets at East English Village. East English Village every Wednesday in November. So that one's almost over. We got 2 more to go. But every Wednesday in November, they meet from 9 to 10 on the east side, 5020 Cadieux. And then there's a mom support group. And they meet on Wednesdays also, 9 o'clock. They meet at 19180 Grand River. So there are so many free things that you can get and you can do. Suppose you don't know how to cook, or you want to learn how to cook, or you want your children, somebody in the family needs to know how to cook. Go over to Davis Aerospace Center at the Golightly Center on East Jefferson and Dickerson Street. Cooking classes till January 26th, every Wednesday from 5:30 until 7:30. Go take cooking class. You may need that. You may very well need that. So there's so many things that can happen, so many things that are being offered to our parents and our students in Detroit Public Schools. I just want you to take advantage of them. I want you to be good. I want our children to be good. Because did you know that if that child is not reading proficiently by the time they get to the 3rd grade, they're going to have trouble for the rest of their time. And they learn how to do that in kindergarten, 1st, 2nd grade. That's where they learn how to read proficiently. That's why it's so important that you get them to school every day on time. And why do I keep saying on time? Because folks take kids to school at 9:30, 10 o'clock. Now, you know better than that. If you had a job and you showed up late every day, how long would you have that job? And how good would you be at that job? So get the babies to school. Now, you know, when they're in kindergarten through 5th grade, it's the parents' responsibility to get them there. They can't get there on their own. It's the parents' responsibility to get them there. So let's do what we know how to do. We know how to take care of these babies. We used to do this all the time. We did it when we didn't have buses. We got the babies to school. There was no busing in Detroit all the time, but we got those babies to school. Let's do that. Let's get these babies to school, because it shows that if they don't go to school, if their attendance is not good, they won't know how to read, first of all. And secondly, they won't succeed. And what do I mean when I say good attendance? If they are absent more than twice in 1 month, they're on the road to being chronically absent, because that means if it's twice in 1 month, they're in school 9 months out of the year. That's 18 times. That's a problem. That's chronically absent. They are missing math. They're missing reading. They're missing social studies. They're missing geography. They're missing chemistry and biology and algebra and geometry. They're missing all of that. They should not be absent 2 times a month. They should have perfect attendance, because that's how we make sure that they learn. That's how we make sure that they're able to socialize, that they learn not only what's in the book, but they learn how to get along with the people in their class and around them. So there's more than one reason for them to be in school. Clearly, they need to learn how to learn what's being taught, but they also need to learn how to be around other people, how to act in a group, how to act in an auditorium. That when you go into a group and there's a large group, that you're quiet. You're not jumping up and down, and you're not talking and doing all those things that would disturb other people. So there's good reason for them to be there. There's all sorts of things for them to learn. Just all sorts of good things for them to learn. Okay. Next, I know y'all get tired of me, but just get ready to get tired, because I'm going to talk about it every time I get a chance. PTA. Now, most of us knew and had PTA, and our parents went to PTA meetings. We went to PTA meetings. We belonged to PTAs. I was the president of the PTA. You know why? Because when my kids started school, I decided that I was probably going to go back to school also. And I decided that my children were going to get a great education, and I wasn't going to pay extra money for it, because I'm already paying for it. And I was not going to put them in private school. I was going to put them in a public school where they were going to be in an excellent environment. And that's exactly what happened. My kids were in an excellent environment. They had great teachers. They had great counselors. They had great principals. They had great people around them. And as a matter of fact, I was there so much, some of the people thought I worked there. But the issue was, if I was up there, I was sure that my children were going to be doing what they were supposed to do, because parents, you know that your children are not always doing what they're supposed to do. They might come home and tell you one thing. Oh, the teacher did this. No, the teacher wasn't that wrong. We're not going to talk about what the teacher did. Let's talk about what you did. And so they didn't know when I'd pop up. So they had to be good all the time. And they couldn't skip school, because they knew I might just pop up any old time. And that's exactly what I did. And I became a member of the PTA, became president of the PTA, helped with fundraisers, helped with doing all sorts of things to make sure that school was successful. And so I'm working now with this McKinsey School, McKinsey Elementary Middle School, that's located on Chicago and Wyoming. And we're starting a PTA. So anyone who's in that area who goes to McKinsey Elementary Middle School, get ready to join the PTA. We need you, parents. The school needs you. Your children need you. Your community needs you. So we're going to start a PTA at McKinsey. That first meeting of that PTA is going to be on the second Tuesday in December. It will be at 4:00. And why do you say 4:00? Well, that's because the children get out of school at 3:40. Parents, you got to be up there anyway to pick the kids up. So you might as well come on to the PTA meeting. Since you're going to be picking up the kids, come on to the PTA meeting. It's at 4:00. We're not going to keep you long. It'll be from 4 to 5. We'll have a little refreshments for you. We'll have a place for the kids to hang out and do a few things while we're meeting. And when you come to the McKinsey PTA meeting on the 14th of December, it's a Tuesday, 4:00. We'll have a little refreshment for you. Be ready to get to work. It's only one hour a month. 1 hour a month. So you can't tell me that that's too much. 1 hour a month. So get your schedule ready to be at the PTA meeting. And for those of you who are interested, Be an officer. We need a president, a vice president, a secretary, a treasurer. We need all those positions for the PTA. And I know you have skills. You can't say you can't do it. Yes, you can do it. It's only 1 hour a month. You can do that. You can do that. It costs $10 to join. Now, you know, we spend $10 on a hamburger and a couple and some fries and a pop. Whole year. I know you can do that. $10. And what that does is allows the schools to know that you care enough about that child to get involved. And you have a voice. You have a voice in what happens to that child, what happens in that school. They listen to the PTA. You want to have a voice? You want to get involved? Join the PTA. They listen to you. There is a national PTA. You can go to different conferences to learn more about how you can help the children. There's a statewide PTA. You can get involved in the statewide organization. Get involved. An hour a month. 1 hour a month. $10 for the year. You can do this. I know you can do it. It's so important. It's so important that we support our school system. When I was president of the PTA, and I was at Barton Elementary School, oh my Lord, Barton was a wonderful school. The teachers were top notch. And they were top notch because the principal was great. And he didn't accept anything less than for his children. He loved those children. And so we have to do the same thing for our children now. You have to push people to be good. You have to push people to do the right thing for your children. And if they're not doing it, find a way to get rid of them. And I know that's harsh, but these are our babies. We need to do whatever we can to take care of these babies. So Barton did it. McKinsey can do it also. McKinsey can have a great PTA. We raised so much money at a candy sale at Barton. We raised like $39,000. And that was back in the 70s and 80s. So you know what can happen now. We took the babies on trips to Toronto when they were graduating from the 5th grade. They stayed at the University of Toronto in Hamilton. They had an opportunity to see what it's like to be on a college campus and stay in a college dorm. Those are the kinds of things we need to be exposing our children to, and exposing them to it early, not late. We need to start now. So Barton Elementary is not far from McKinsey. McKinsey is going to have a PTA meeting on the 14th of December. Please let everybody you know in that area who has children, please let them know to be ready to come to McKinsey's PTA and to join and to be involved and to work with the school. Schools need help. I'm telling you, believe me, they need help. This pandemic has just magnified how much help they really need. And when I tell you that the attendance rate at some of the schools, it's just more than you would even want to know. And it's more than is acceptable. It is not acceptable for children to be. Now, this is November. We've got children who have been absent already 8, 9, 10 times. That's not acceptable. We cannot accept that as a community. We have a job as a community to make sure these children are taken care of. So whatever that is we have to do it. That's our job. It is not acceptable to have children absent that much. And sometimes it obviously, if they're K through 5, it's beyond their control because parents are the only ones who can get them there. Parents have that responsibility to get them there. And we can get them there from K through 5. They'll become accustomed to it. They'll be in the habit of it. So by the time they get to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, there won't be a problem with them going to school. They will know that that's what they need to do to succeed. So they will get there. They will do their homework. They will be socialized. They will understand how to deal with people in their surroundings. And we won't have as many of our babies going to jail because they didn't get to school early on and didn't understand how important it was and didn't get into the habit of doing homework and being around people and the social skills necessary to be in a society. That is our job. Our job and our charge is to make sure those babies can do that. Okay. Last thing I'm going to talk about today is the Detroit Public Schools alumni. Many of us graduated from Detroit Public Schools, and they have an alumni association. I bet you didn't know that, did you? They have an alumni association, and you get a little pin that says you are an alumnus. And so we want those of you who are Detroit Public School alumni. Number one, we want you to join the Alumni Association. But number two, we want you to go back to whatever school you were a part of and help out. The McKinsey alumni has been wonderful. They are helping out. They are just a great group of people. Unfortunately, my school, Northern High School, the Big and O, is no longer open. It is no longer Northern High School. It is now, I believe it's a school for girls' school. But the Big and O Alumni Association still exists. We still get together. We had our 50th, 50 years. Our 50th anniversary, and that was a few years ago. And it was great seeing all the people that we went to high school with. And we had some teachers who came back to be with us. And it's interesting that you think the teachers are really, really old, but they're not. Because obviously when we're in high school and we're 17, 18 years old graduating, and the teachers are probably, we think they're really, really old, but they're probably 28, 29 because they're fresh out of college, many of them. They came back to our Alumni Association 50th anniversary. So I'm going to, again, that Family and Community Engagement Center, FACE, Family and Community Engagement Center. They want you to join the Alumni Association. They want you to be a part of the Alumni Association. There is a district-wide alumni meeting every first Tuesday of the month. Every first Tuesday of the month, there's a district-wide Alumni Association meeting. And you can find out more information about that. Detroit K-12 organization, alumni, DetroitK12.org/alumni. Let's get involved. Let's show these young people that we really, really do care about them. I don't know where the disconnect came or at what point in time we disconnected, but boy, we've got to get back into this. We've got to help these children. We've got to get back involved. We are good. We know how good we can be here in Detroit. We know that we can do this job. We just have to go out there and do it and bring a whole lot of other folks along with us. So I'll be talking about this every week from now on. So just get ready. I'll be bringing you information about Detroit Public Schools from now on. Whatever the criticisms you have, whatever you think you need to suggest, go to those board meetings and do that. Go to those listening sessions and do that with the superintendent and with Bishop Carlotta Vaughn, who is a member of the Detroit Board of Education. Get on those listening sessions and tell them what you think. There is going to be a huge building program based on the dollars we received from the CARES Act, from the federal government. Tell them what you think ought to be done with some of the buildings. Tell them if you think some ought to be torn down or we need to consolidate some or we need to build new ones. They're going to be asking those questions. They're going to be putting together that plan that says how we're going to spend that, I don't know, $700 or $800 million that the school system is receiving from the CARES Act. Let people know. Don't sit back and then once the decision has been made, you decide, oh, that's what I want to do. Well, you should have told them that in the first place. You had an opportunity to do that. And I tell people the same thing just about voting. It's a shame 18% of the people voted. And then you're going to try to complain about what some of the elected officials are doing. You don't have a right to complain because you didn't vote. There. Okay, I'm going to end with Northern High School alumni, or not Northern, but Alumni Association. Get involved in the Alumni Association, and I'll be talking about this every time you see me on this show because it's just that important. I will take I won't interrupt some of our guests, but I will talk about Detroit Public School Community District every time we have an opportunity. It is just that important. We have got to bring the absenteeism rate down. The absenteeism rate is somewhere between 50 and 60% for the entire system. That's unacceptable. And where are those babies when they're not in school? Getting in trouble. That is not acceptable. We have got to do better, and we can do better. And I know we will do better because I know you. I know you, Detroit. We have come through some really, really tough times. We still have some tough times to go through. And I'll end with this. If you have not gotten your vaccine, please get the vaccine. People are still dying. People are still dying. Please get the vaccine. Please do. And let me honor a wonderful, wonderful woman. She will have the final word. The Honorable Barbara Rose Collins made her transition last week. Her funeral was this past Saturday at the African American Museum of History. It was an excellent homegoing. Barbara Rose Collins was the first Black woman elected to Congress from the state of Michigan. She is the one who put the bill in to have Juneteenth be celebrated nationally. Barbara Rose Collins is someone to celebrate, someone to talk about in the history books. She was just an excellent Congresswoman. She is the reason Don Barton had the cable contract for the city of Detroit. She was one who pushed for that. Barbara Rose Collins passed away, a week or so ago. Her funeral was this past Saturday. We send our condolences to her family. It was an excellent homegoing. But Barbara Rose Collins, one for the history books for this city, for this state, and for this nation. Everyone have a great week. I'll talk to you next week. Take care. Love you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Community Bell with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner Edna Bell. This broadcast was brought to you by WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. If you've enjoyed this broadcast, tell a friend to tune in. We'll see you next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern to the Community Bell Show, right here on WVTC Radio Detroit. You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit.